You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, we take you out to Shoal Creek to cool off and enjoy Waterfest.
Also, authorities in Benton County, Arkansas battle an apartment fire.
And we've got ourselves a warm and muggy start to our Monday ahead of a very hot day and maybe even some thunderstorm chances. We're going to take a look at all of that in your forecast here in just a couple of more minutes on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's coming up on 7:01 now on this Monday morning. Even though that says Tuesday morning, you know, I would not be offended
It's
or
Monday,
upset
Chris.
if it was Tuesday. You know what I mean, though?
It's Monday, start of a great week here.
Absolutely.
So,
Why not?
a lot to
that's
be
the
excited
thing.
about.
All we have to do is get through Monday, you know, and then it's just immediately.
It's all downhill from here.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the same thing I say every morning. It's all downhill from Tuesday on right to Friday. So that's going to be fantastic. We have a great show coming up for you this hour here on the Fox 14 Morning News.
That's right. And the Shoal Creek Water Festival was held over the weekend. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has a look into the biggest highlight of the event.
The annual Shoal Creek Water Festival kicked off with singing, dancing, and organizations gathering to highlight the importance of keeping Joplin's main water source clean and maintained.
If you live in the city of Joplin, Shoal Creek is where you get your water. So it is really important that Shoal Creek is clean. And by keeping it clean, we have to keep the public informed on clean habits that go along with keeping waterways clean.
The event brought together people of all ages and showcased many members of the community. But the best part happens out on the water.
We have prizes that are given out based on the different heats that the cardboard boats race in. And of course, we have awards like the Titanic Award, who goes down with the best showmanship. So this is an annual event, and people build them, so it is always a fun event.
I got to talk to some of the cardboard engineers to get the inside look into what it takes to compete in this innovative, albeit somewhat crazy, competition.
Keep the balance straight. If we keep the balance, then water won't be able to go in, and we'll just be able to keep going down the river.
Perfect. I'm going to find God in the next 5 minutes.
Time to find out whose game plan is going to work better. For Roe v. Wave? Well, they didn't even make it off the shore. But for Jake and peer pressure, turns out he found God and found himself in first place overall in the tandem division.
I feel pretty good. I was able to find God at the very end, and he's able to get us to the end there because we were taking on water from the very beginning.
For Gavin, though, next year's strategy mainly just involves getting the boat out on the water. So, making a boat out of cardboard may not be the smartest decision, but it sure provides a good time. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
And it's important to note that all sunken ships and their debris are recovered and disposed of properly.
So that's good. That is good to know because
Yes.
Shoal Creek, a big source of drinking water, of course, here in the area. And so you want to make sure you get it cleaned up. And I can't swim, so you will never catch me on a cardboard boat
No, we
in
won't.
the middle of the creek. No way. But after our thunderstorm chances, it is not going to be a bad idea to possibly head to the creek, but you certainly do not want to be out on the water during a thunderstorm. Let's take a look. This Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see that one thunderstorm that is still up to the north here, and it's really gotten going pretty well, but it's not moving a lot. It is trying to drift off to the south-southeast, and we have this little guy developing just to the north of Chanute. So we'll have to see what all of these do. They're part of this bigger batch. Look at this big batch of thunderstorms up here. They were strong severe earlier. They're still strong in some locations and a lot of lightning, and we still have a severe thunderstorm watch that runs. It looks like it's just being updated. That's why it says 7:03. So I'll find out what the update is on that and see what's going on with that watch, if it's being extended, if they're just going to keep it in place as these storms continue to move off to the south-southeast as we head through the morning hours. So we'll have to keep an eye on what these thunderstorms do through the morning. At least some of us will get some kind of rainfall out there. Unfortunately, it's going to be hot with temperatures mid-90s. We'll take a full look at your forecast here in a few more minutes. Kate?
Authorities in Newton County Saturday arrested 2 people after a chase which resulted in a grass fire. It started around 7 p.m. Saturday south of Joplin. Authorities say they tried to stop a red pickup, but the pickup took off and police chased it for another 20 minutes. Authorities were able to stop it with spike strips at Spurgeon and Gateway. The truck then drove a little farther on its rims, which sparked and started a grass fire. The driver and passenger were both arrested on outstanding warrants. The pickup was reported stolen out of Tulsa. And the Grand River Dam Authority says a man died yesterday after a boating incident. Authorities say it happened in the Duck Creek area of Grand Lake. They say 47-year-old Daniel Siebert fell off of his boat before being hit by another boat. Siebert did not resurface, and the GRDA recovered his body around 7:30 yesterday morning. Authorities in Benton County, Arkansas battle a Saturday night fire. Authorities responded just after 6:30 p.m. Saturday to a multi-occupancy building fire on 2900 North 22nd. Multiple callers reported heavy fire involvement on the second story of the backside of one of the apartment buildings. No civilian or firefighter injuries occurred. The fire was under control at about 7 p.m. and authorities declared the fire out at 8:30 p.m. The cause is under investigation with Little Flock Fire and the Benton County Fire Marshal offices. A Coffeyville man pleads no contest to child sex crimes. Archie Leon Cannon, age 58, pleaded no contest to aggravated indecent liberties with a child under the age of 14. The court sentenced Cannon on Thursday to just under 6 years, and he must register as a sex offender upon release. Original charges were rape and a count of aggravated intimidation of a witness and/or victim, threats of force and/or violence. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations says a woman killed herself and 3 kids in the Tulsa area Thursday night. Police discovered the bodies after a 3-hour standoff with the female suspect. CJ Macklin has the story.
The public information manager for the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, Hunter McKee, says that Verdigris police were driving in the neighborhood at 4 p.m. near East Dogwood Court and Cypress Street when they noticed fireworks erupting outside of a home.
Police went to investigate when they heard those fireworks and discovered that there was an armed and barricaded person inside of the home. They tried to make contact, and that's when a standoff ensued for the next 3 hours. After no response, they decided to make entry into the home, where they found an adult woman along with 3 children dead inside, all with apparent gunshot wounds.
That woman has now been identified by OSBI as 39-year-old Brandy McCaslin. Neighbors I talked to say McCaslin grew up in that same house since she was a little girl. We also spoke with the father of the 10th-month-old who was killed via social media. And while he confirmed it was his son who was killed, he understandably was not ready to talk about the tragedy.
When you're talking about 4 individuals who are dead, 3 children, this is extremely difficult for everybody involved. Everybody that's looking into this, trying to help best they can. As I said, this was a long process.
While OSBI is not releasing the names of the children, it did confirm their ages, a 10th-month-old, an 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old. This community is mourning.
The Verdigris Police Department did a good job of making sure that the scene was clear as quickly as they could, but of course making entry inside the home and finding out 4 people and 3 kids, it's extremely tough.
Again, OSBI is not releasing the names of the kids, but their names are on a memorial that's been set up in front of their house. Up next, how often you go to the bathroom could be a sign of cognitive decline.
And later, how to keep kids safe while they game online. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, a new study says how often you do number 2 may affect your cognitive functions. Scientists participating in research presented at the Alzheimer's Association's International Conference in Amsterdam say that people who poop less often may suffer poorer cognitive functioning. The study may be the first of its kind to link cognitive decline to bowel frequency. The research found those who defecated only once every 3 or more days had significantly worse cognition than equaled 3 or more years of cognitive aging compared to those who went once a day. And a new survey of more than 1,200 older Americans has found few senior citizens are being screened for dementia, despite saying they're aware of the benefits of the tests. The University of Michigan's national poll on healthy aging says most older adults think screening for dementia is a good idea, but few actually follow through and get tested. The survey found only about 20% of people ages 65 to 80 have had a screening to test in the past year to see if their memory and thinking abilities have begun to decline. The vast majority of respondents, 96%, said a memory test that showed indications of trouble would give them incentive to talk about the appropriate action that they need for their brain health. And an increasingly popular tool to fight cancer is giving patients new hope. Biomarker testing looks for specific genes or markers to better customize treatment plans for patients. As Natalie Brand reports, doctors and patients call the advancement a game changer for care.
Any pain today?
Dr. Sydney Barnett looks like the picture of health. Making rounds in the oncology unit at Luminous Health Anne Arundel Medical Center, you would never know she's a cancer patient herself.
I remember just having a whirlwind of emotions and just not understanding how this was even possible.
Her diagnosis of stage 4 lung cancer came at age 33, a complete shock for the active non-smoker in her medical residency at the time. Dr. Barnett says because of her age, doctors tested her tumor for specific characteristics or biomarkers to help pinpoint how best to fight it.
That we have moved away from a one-size-fits-all.
Dr. Vincent Lamb of Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine says biomarker testing, which can give clues about targeted treatments, can mean the difference between life or death.
That could be the difference between chemotherapy that may only work for a few months, for example, for some of our stage 4 lung cancer patients, as compared to a pill that the patient can take for years.
Where does this research go next?
Well, we're just scratching the surface.
The biomarker testing has allowed Dr. Barnett to avoid chemo and radiation and live a normal life for the past 6 years.
I'm able to work full time, I'm able to work out, I'm able to go traveling with my friends and family.
She's grateful for the research.
Thankfully, it is buying us some time, but a lot of us run out of time. So we need more.
And hopes one day it leads to a cure. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Maryland.
Studies show racial and geographic disparities in accessibility to biomarker testing, and doctors say insurance coverage has lagged behind the innovation. They urge anyone fighting cancer to talk to your healthcare provider about whether you are eligible for biomarker testing.
Well, we're continuing to watch developing showers and thunderstorms across the areas. You can see on the Skywatch storm tracker here, especially into our northern counties now. No strong or severe storms in our immediate area, but we will be keeping an eye on this as we go through the morning. We'll have another full look at your forecast when we come back. And coming up, a senior Barbie fan invites her friends to a Barbie-themed party just in time for the movie to come out. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17 now on this Monday morning across the area. Got some decent thunderstorms out here in our northern counties. We do have some of that dangerous lightning. You have to remember, lightning can be deadly. You want to stay away from that, stay away from the water especially. I know it's going to be a warm one today, but until these storms clear, you don't want to mess around with that. Well, you don't have any strong or severe storms in our area right at this moment. We do have the severe thunderstorm watch, as you can see, cuts off just before it gets into our area. Still running until noon. We've got this new line of showers and thunderstorms that's developed off of this big batch that's been rolling out of Nebraska now, moving into the area as it continues to push off to the east-southeast, which is also pushing this line off to the east-southeast as well. So we'll have to see exactly what that does over the next couple hours as it rolls through the area. Future track shows by noon, though, that line pushing along and east of I-49 as it continues to roll on out of here. Maybe a couple of stray thunderstorms behind that. Unfortunately, most of us, I believe, are going to remain dry today, and we're going to be hot as well with temperatures pushing into the mid to upper 90s. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line. Got some sunshine out there looking good, but it is warm. And same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. There's the clouds from those thunderstorms. We're sitting partly cloudy, 75 in Joplin, dew points up there to 66. Humidity is at 73%. So we have some energy to work with for these storms. As to how much, that's going to be the question. We had 73 Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Pittsburgh, 71 in Parsons, and 74 Chautauqua, Miami. As we get our morning started, we're leaving the scattered thunderstorm chances up there because we're beginning to see some of those. But again, I think most of us, unfortunately, are dry, mid-80s by late morning. We head into the afternoon, again, highs today into the mid to upper 90s. Heat index values approaching 100. We'll go into the 100s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Temperatures upper 90s near 100 on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe some morning showers on Wednesday and possibly a few scattered storms for us on Saturday. Well, summertime means that kids are away from school and sometimes getting into trouble in the real world and in video games. Now, a major gaming company wants to help keep them safe. Eamon Digman has more in this edition of Fox on Tech.
Keeping your kids safe online is a priority not just for parents, but every major gaming company as well. And one expert tells us nothing keeps a kid safer than a parent's involvement in gaming. Catherine Jensen is the Vice President of Global Consumer Experience at Sony. She says it's essential to keep those lines of communication open.
From a danger perspective, of course, know who you're talking with. Make sure that they share like interests and similar values and have fun.
Jensen also says there are easy ways to check if you're doing it right online.
You don't have to be on the console to set up controls. You can use the PlayStation app or you can get online. But most importantly, I don't want parents to be intimidated.
One thing to note, some games have their own chat clients that console makers like Sony and Microsoft have no control over. So parents should pay attention to how communication works in the games their kids play. For example, party chats run through Sony can be monitored, but a game like Fortnite has its own in-game system that only the publisher, Epic Games, can monitor.
We work very closely to make sure we have common code of conduct, and we want the internet and gaming to be welcoming for everyone.
The most important thing is to get involved, ask questions, know how the game works, and play along with your kids. Well, coming up, Democrats in Crawford County, listen up. There's now a new HQ for you in the county. It's a Barbie world for all of us this summer, but especially for one Kentucky fan who has been collecting and celebrating all things Barbie for decades.
Molly Jett takes us to meet her and see how she's gearing up for the iconic film's release.
This is how you do. Friends, fashion, and fun. Chris Fulkerson is a Barbie girl.
Barbie is positive. She's nothing but positive. And that's what I love.
Who grew up in a Barbie world.
Cheers, Barbie!
They were both born in 1959. Back then, one doll cost about $3. Nowadays, she's about $25. Barbie's biggest fan has nearly every iconic doll you could own.
Each decade, I have a Barbie party. And I wore this for my 50th, and I'm so happy I can fit into it again.
The 63-year-old fashionista invited her girlfriends for a Barbie house party in anticipation of the big movie. Barbie! Many girls growing up had the doll, and this movie is nostalgic.
As a young girl, right, we all played Barbies, whatever Barbie you had, whatever year you had, whatever era you had. And you always had fun.
Hi, Barbie! So they bought their tickets nearly a month ago and planned to go together.
I don't know if I'm going to cry or not. I wasn't expecting tears. I just thought I'd laugh and smile through the whole thing.
18 girls of all ages and their dog dressed up in pink with Prosecco just an hour before their showing.
I feel so lucky because everything is done up really big, huge all the time, and Barbie would be no exception.
Cheers, cheers, toast!
Toasting to a timeless Barbie and a lifetime of friendship.
And I think, Barbie's had every possible career there is. And I do think we need to, as women, cheer each other on more and be more supportive. And Barbie's just always represented that.
I love that. And I love that Barbie has spanned through all the generations. It doesn't matter if you're in your 50s, your 20s, teens. We all grew up playing with Barbies. And so it always will hold a special place in all of our hearts.
Oh yeah, Barbie's been around my entire life as well, and I had a little sister, so I had to play Barbie with her every so often.
I love my Barbies. I love them. Well, coming up, the Joplin Public Library celebrates the end of its summer reading program.
And we've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there this morning, and it's going to be hot this week. We're going to take a look at that forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News at Fox 14. It's currently 7:29 a.m. Crawford County Democrats now have a new HQ. On Sunday, community members gathered to celebrate and perform a ribbon cutting in honor of this new facility. The space will make it easier for community members to get in touch with local Democratic officials and candidates for local offices. All funds to provide this space were donated by members of the community. The Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas invites community members out to experience their newest exhibit, Preserving the Past. The museum brings attention to the history and heritage that comes from mining camps in the four-state region in the early 1900s. On Sunday, the museum hosted a special program to showcase the program that went into restoring the miners' house, which is displayed just behind the museum.
Well, we hope to educate all walks of people, but children more than anyone. You know, I'm an educator too, and it would be great to see our students out here along with their parents and the community members and seeing what life was like back in 1908, 1910.
For anyone interested in visiting the museum, it is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the Joplin Public Library celebrated the end of its annual summer reading program with popcorn, karaoke, and fun for all ages. The summer reading program is a way for anyone, children, teens, and even adults to keep their mind sharp throughout the summer and check books off that reading list.
Not to be a stereotype, but you know what? I love books, and I love seeing the community get together and love books too. I like seeing parents bringing in their kids to check out a big old stack of books and knowing that they're going to go home and read together and learn and explore the world outside of our area through that story.
Those who participated in this year's reading program also got the chance to earn prizes for all the reading they accomplished over the summer.
And we're continuing to monitor thunderstorms rolling through the area this morning. In fact, for parts of northeastern Allen County, we now have a strong storm here, what they call a significant weather advisory for the possibility of wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So we're going to keep an eye on this cluster as it continues to move off to the south and to the east. It's all part of this larger cluster, and we still have that severe thunderstorm watch just outside of our area through noon. Haven't had any new warnings with any of this activity as it continues to roll off roughly to the south-southeast, but as you see, we've had this line that's been developing and building back to the south end. In fact, if we look down here, we've got additional development beginning to take place. Now, that's not happening here, but this little guy is. So we'll have to see what these other storms do as we go through the morning. Heading into the afternoon, Future Track shows this line eventually pushing to the east of I-49, maybe a couple straight thunderstorms behind it. And after that, we will clear out. And unfortunately, as you're seeing too, with even the Skywatch Storm Tracker, most of us will remain dry. MoDOT camera looking good at 32nd and range line. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th. We're looking at highs today, mid to upper 90s with those scattered thunderstorms this morning. Triple digits Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe some morning showers. Hot Thursday, Friday, triple digits again Friday. Upper 90s this weekend with additional thunderstorm chances by Saturday. Again, we'll continue to monitor these storms, and if any warnings come out, we will certainly let you know. Caitlin?
And a little girl in Joplin is showing her support to her dad in a unique way. Her father is suffering from a pituitary tumor. It's non-cancerous, but is starting to affect his vision. She wanted to help her dad receive his treatment with a lemonade stand. Evelyn and her mom say they are hoping to raise enough money so he can get the care he needs.
Probably like 40 or something.
Hoping to raise at least $3,000, as much as we can, because it's going to be quite expensive between the lodging and the gas and everything else. So we're hoping just to raise as much as we can.
The lemonade stand opened at 9 a.m. on Saturday in the Superior Roofing parking lot in Joplin. Kittyland in Pittsburgh celebrated 70 years of fun. The event included $1 rides and concessions, face paintings, and snow cones. The first 70 people also received a free hot dog. The event ran from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The joy, it's just something that is so remarkable, and it's actually amazing to see, because when someone gets happy and you can tell that they are really happy, it just brings your happiness to your heart also. Even on some of the worst days you can have, it will bring you make you happy and just kind of bring joy to your heart.
The amusement park has been in operation since 1953. And the Girard Fire Department held a Girard Safety Day. Community members were able to see the different kinds of equipment that firefighters and police officers work with every day. It included a bounce house and a tour of the fire trucks and police cruisers.
The goal is to keep the public informed on what we do here and our equipment and where we are. Since we're public safety, this equipment belongs to the public. So we want them to be able to come and see the equipment we've got and that we're keeping it up for them.
The event began at 11 a.m. Saturday morning and concluded at 1 p.m. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up on this half hour of the KOAM Morning News, Jason Bright and Matt Fussell comes in to studio to tell us all about JomoCon, the perfect place for lovers of nerd and geek culture to go.
Plus, as mentioned, we're keeping an eye on some thunderstorm chances out there this morning. We've got a pretty hot work week ahead of us as well. We'll take another look at that forecast here in a few more minutes. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in the studio today, Jason Bright and Matt Fussell from the JomoCon Committee, and they're here to tell us all about, well, you guessed it, JomoCon. Welcome to the show. So this is a pretty big deal that you've had going on for a while. Tell me a little bit about what it is and what people can expect this year.
Okay, well, JomoCon, it's a convention, and like I said before, it's for all things nerd culture, geek culture, but we do it for charity. We're fundraising for the Children's Center in Southwest Missouri this year. And so we're going to go to the Cornell Complex on West 7th Street in Joplin. That's going to be August 5th. And we're going to have guests, we're going to have gaming, we're going to have cosplay, art vendors, nerd merchandise vendors, all sorts of stuff, just to give people a chance to get out, get together, enjoy the things that they're all passionate about, like sci-fi, fantasy, anime, all that stuff.
All right. And how important is it for y'all to be able to do this and raise money for charity?
There's a lot of local need, and sometimes you don't realize just how much local need there is until you start to look for it. And so it kind of fulfills two roles. Like, one, we get to do something like that normally you don't get to do unless you're in a bigger city and a much higher price point. And then two, it's also for a good cause. So you kind of take out two birds with one stone. You get to come have a good time, and some kids in this case this year get some really necessary money that they need to facilitate some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something key there. You know, you always hear about these big conventions in the larger cities. What's it like to be able to bring something like this down here to Joplin every year?
Well, one of the reasons we started this is because Matt and I, and also the other members of our group, we have gone to conventions before. They're really fun, really awesome. You see some amazing stuff there. And, you have to go to Kansas City is like the closest one for something that big. Right. And so we're, you go there a few times, you're like, you know what, I really wish we could have this in Joplin, in our hometown. And so that's why we formed our group, and it's smaller, but it is local, it's more personable, it's more accessible and cheaper.
And then in terms of special guests, what does it take to secure some of these and be able to make this as successful as you see in the big cities?
Yeah, so finding a guest, that's just a lot of emailing and a lot of research. Yeah, you go online, like there's entire encyclopedias online, or like Wikipedias, I guess, of voice actors, which when you're talking anime or a lot of the nerd culture, a lot of the media involves voice acting. And so we usually get a voice actor, which we did this year. Her name's Ryan Bartley. She's coming from LA. She's in a lot of big animes right now, like Demon Slayer is one of them. You can go on Netflix and watch that right now. So like I said, a lot of emailing and negotiation.
I can imagine so, but it's still great for me. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so to be able to have things like this come here to Joplin and not have to travel halfway across the state in order to do something is just really exciting.
Right.
And as you mentioned, you're raising money for a local charity as well, which
absolutely.
is just phenomenal. So real quick recap, where is this, when is this, what do people need to know?
We'll be at the Cornell Center in Joplin, Missouri. It's the corner of 7th and Joplin. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on August 5th. You can get your tickets right now if you go to jomocon.org. We do have an advanced pricing cut if you want to get in there, but it'll be $15 at the door a day of, because again, we want to keep this accessible for local families.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in this morning. And of course, if for any reason you missed any of that, you know where to go, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:43 on this Monday morning. We're watching this batch of showers and thunderstorms. We do have what they call a significant weather advisory for parts of northeastern Allen County, and that's for winds up to about 50 miles an hour out there. So below severe limits, but still, that 50-mile-an-hour winds can knock some things around and even take down some small tree limbs. This is moving off to the southeast at about 25 miles an hour. This line, as you can see here, re-intensifying. This flashing indicating a new severe thunderstorm warning, which encompasses the majority of the KC metro area as this pushes off to the east. So this whole line has been moving east-southeast. It was south-southeast earlier as it continues to sweep through the area. And you can see on the loop where it was kind of diving south-southeasterly, and parts of it are starting to turn to the east. So we'll continue to monitor the development on these storms. And of course, if there's any warnings that come in, we will absolutely let you know right away. After we head into the afternoon, this line of showers and storms begins to roll off to the east. A couple of stray storms possible behind it. Otherwise, the majority of us, unfortunately, are going to stay dry out there and hot. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looks all right, getting sunshine here on the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th, just south of Pittsburgh. You can see the thunderstorm clouds from our camera at 7th in range line, 75 in Joplin. Humidity and dew point are up there, so we've got some energy for these storms. Hence why we're starting to see some in parts of Allen County out there. 74 Chanute, Pittsburgh, 76 Miami, 72 Neosho, 75 Carthage. So we're going to hold on to the scattered thunderstorm chances, at least for some of us through the morning. Mid-80s by 11. And as we head into the afternoon, another hot one. And this kicks off a long week of hot weather. Temperatures mid to upper 90s. Heat index values easily pushing 100. That's Check Your Forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin for a check of Consumer Watch.
In Consumer Watch this morning, American Airlines agreed to raise its pilot contract offer by more than $1 billion. The airline decided to bring its offer to par with competitor United Airlines. United reached an agreement with its pilots last week that would give pilots up to a 40% raise. American's new offer reaches about $9 billion in incremental compensation and benefits. Pilots would also get pay raises and bonuses. Meanwhile, the Allied Pilots Association says the offer, quote, included the least critical elements prioritized by the boards, end quote. American Airlines CEO Robert Issam says they hope to ratify the agreement in August. Streaming your favorite music on Spotify may soon cost you more money. According to a Wall Street Journal report, the company is expected to raise the price of the ad-free premium monthly plan in the U.S. by $1. It currently costs $9.99 per month. The Journal, citing anonymous sources, is reporting the announcement is expected to be announced next week. The report also states that the company could increase prices in other markets in the coming months. This would be the first increase for its premium subscription plan since Spotify launched in 2011. And just in time for the dog days of summer, McDonald's is coming out with a new McFlurry. The burger chain says it is introducing the Peanut Butter Crunch McFlurry. The new treat is made with vanilla soft serve, pieces of chocolate peanut butter cookies, and a crispy cereal mix. McDonald's says the Peanut Butter Crunch McFlurry will only be available for a limited time starting August 9th. The new McFlurry is actually the second flavor to debut this year. In April, a strawberry shortcake McFlurry featuring vanilla soft serve, strawberry flavored clusters, and cookies was on the menu for a time. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Sharks can pose risks to summertime beachgoers. A feisty and furry otter is stealing surfboards and putting swimmers and boaters off the coast of California on high alert.
Gary Baumgarten takes a look at the adorable but aggressive animal and what wildlife experts think could be causing her strange behavior.
While she may look cute, wildlife officials in California say this sea otter is anything but cuddly. Named 841, this 5-year-old female otter has a knack for stealing surfboards and lashing out at kayakers in the waters off Santa Cruz. 841's unruly behavior has been ongoing for several weeks, and because she's showing signs of aggression, environmentalists are warning people to stay clear.
The potential risk to both the animal as well as the public that we needed to attempt to actually capture her.
841 was born in captivity and released into the wild back in 2020, and while she's been tagged and given a radio transmitter, animal experts haven't been successful in catching her.
They can't tranquilize her because of fear of her drowning, so they really need to get hands on her, and they've been using a bait surfboard where a diver goes into the water towing a surfboard, but as soon as they get within a couple of feet, she dives off.
But as efforts to capture 841 continue, officials are also trying to figure out what's causing her unusual outbursts.
We've seen some cases where a sea otter was illegally fed by someone in the public, and that led the animal to continue approaching other people looking for food. We've also seen cases where hormonal surges, particularly with adult females, can lead to changes in behavior.
Wow, what an ornery little otter.
No kidding. Taking surfboards, getting a little aggressive out there, apparently claiming the beachfront as her own.
I know. I always thought otters were these sweet little passive things that just float on their back and collect their rocks, but no.
Apparently not this
They
one.
are
You must steer
takers
clear
of
of her.
surfboards, right?
Well, we got some thunderstorms out there this morning. Taking a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, still have that strong thunderstorm parts of eastern Allen County, producing winds up to 50 miles an hour. So it's something that we'll keep an eye on as this line continues to develop across the area and continues to push off to the southeast. We're starting to see a little activity try and take off with this. The severe weather staying up to the north. Kansas City Metro, 70 mile an hour wind gusts with that storm. Another warning up there, and that severe thunderstorm watch just outside of our area still continues until noon today, but we will keep an eye on this line of thunderstorms as it continues to push off to the south-southeast. At this point, no severe thunderstorms with this, which is good news, but you can also see we're getting a little outflow, a little wave activity off of some dying thunderstorms well out to our west, so we'll have to see how that interacts with this line and whether or not it helps it to fill in as we go through the morning hours. We'll have another check of your full forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Grand River Dam Authority says a man died yesterday after a boating incident. Authorities say it happened in the Duck Creek area of Grand Lake. They say 47-year-old Daniel Siebert fell off of his boat before being hit by another boat. Siebert did not resurface, and the GRDA recovered his body around 7:30 this morning. Crawford County Democrats now have a new HQ. On Sunday, community members gathered to celebrate and perform a ribbon cutting in honor of this new facility. The space will make it easier for community members to get in touch with local Democratic officials and candidates for local offices. All funds to provide this space were donated by members of the community. And the Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas invites community members out to experience their newest exhibit, Preserving the Past. The museum brings attention to the history and heritage that comes from mining camps in the four-state region in the early 1900s. On Sunday, the museum hosted a special program to showcase the work that went into restoring the miner's house, which is displayed just behind the museum. And a little girl in Joplin shows her support to her dad in a unique way. Her father is suffering from a pituitary tumor. It's non-cancerous, but is starting to affect his vision. She wanted to help her dad receive his treatment with a lemonade stand. Evelyn and her mom say they are hoping to raise enough money so he can get the care he needs.
All right, we got a hot one after our morning thunderstorm chances, at least for some of us. We'll go partly cloudy, mostly clear, mid-90s out there. Heat index values as high as 100. Staying hot into the evening. Temperatures tonight mild, back into the mid-70s. We got triple digits for us tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday. Near triple digits for Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe a few morning showers on Wednesday and a few more scattered storms possible on Saturday.
A zoo in Sydney released footage and images on July 20th as it announced that a 9-month-old koala Joey named Parker had emerged from its mother's pouch.
The zoo is happy to welcome this adorable addition to the Wildlife Sydney family, and that Parker is a symbol of hope for koalas. The koala population has been significantly impacted by habitat loss and unprecedented changes in climate, including the terrible 2019-2020 bushfires that killed an estimated 1 billion native animals.
The zoo said Parker had been hitting all of his milestones and weighed 1.24 kilograms. The zoo said Australia's wild koala population has been listed as endangered since February 2022.
So that's good that they're starting to grow that population again.
Absolutely.
And I do remember those bushfires, and there was just so much concern over the number of animals out there.
Thank God that they're doing what they can to bring those koalas back.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.